Each kidney is made up of millions of structural units called nephrons. Ultrafiltration is also called as glomerular filtration. Henle's loop, it is a narrow U-shaped tube connecting PCT and DCT. The pressure that is exerted in the tuft of blood capillaries due to the high pressure created in the glomerulus is called glomerular hydrostatic pressure. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 3 of this interesting chapter called Excretory Products and Their Elimination. Myself B. Shobha Rani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session we studied about the structure of a nephron, how important nephrons are for the process of excretion. As we know, each kidney is made up of millions of structural units called nephrons. The study of nephrons and kidney related is called nephrology. So here, I think you can see the beautiful picture of a nephron. So we studied about the structure of a nephron in the last session, which consisted of two very important parts called renal corpuscle and second one called renal tubules. So in the last session we studied about the renal corpuscle. So this whole part is called as the renal corpuscle, which consisted of a cup-like or a bowl-like structure called Bowman's capsule with a tuft of blood capillaries called glomerulus. Tuft of blood capillaries called glomerulus, and with afferent arteriole that supplies blood to the glomerulus and efferent that carries away from the glomerulus. As we know, the afferent arteriole is larger than the efferent arteriole. So we studied about the renal corpuscle. So moving on to the study of the renal tubules. So the renal tubules consists of PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, and DCT, that is Henle's loop, and DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, and the CT, that is the collecting tubule. So this whole thing is called as what? Renal tubule. Now let us understand about the renal tubules in detail. So the renal tubule consists of proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, Henle's loop, and peritubular capillary. So here you can see the peritubular blood capillaries. Peritubular blood. What do you mean by peritubular? The blood capillaries that are surrounding the tubular section is called as peritubular blood capillaries. Right. Now let us study about, so this is Bowman's capsule. So this part, up to this part from here to here, it forms from here up to here, it forms the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. So proximal convoluted tubule, that is the PCT, the Bowman's capsule descend downward. So from here you can see it descend downward as what? Proximal into a coil tube called PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. It is internally lined by modified cuboidal epithelium. So PCT is internally lined by modified cuboidal epithelium, just like for example squamous epithelium in case of the Bowman's capsule. So here modified cuboidal epithelium which shows microvilli. Microvilli means finger-like projections. So they are called the brush border cells. So BBC. So not it is British Broadcasting, it is brush border cells. So what do you mean by BBC here? Brush border cells. So what are brush border cells? That is proximal convoluted tubule. The renal tubule consists of what? Proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, Henle's tubule, and peritubular capillaries. So here you can see it consists of proximal convoluted tubule, then it consists of distal convoluted tubule, and it consists of Henle's loop. Here you can see the ascending limb and descending limb of Henle's loop, and peritubular capillary. So here these are the peritubular capillaries. So it is internally lined by modified cuboidal epithelium, modified, which shows microvilli, finger-like projections. Hence it is called the brush border cells. Then moving on to the distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule, it is similar to that of PCT. So it is almost similar to like proximal convoluted tubule, but less coiled. So which is more coiled? The PCT is more coiled when compared to DCT. So but less coiled and lined by cuboidal epithelium at the end, and it connects with the collecting tubule. So this, you can see, this is the collecting tubule, peritubular capillaries and also collecting tubule. Collecting tubule, right? So renal tubule, as I said, the whole of the nephron is divided into two very important parts. One is called the renal corpuscle, which consists of the cup-like structure called Bowman's capsule with a tuft of blood capillaries called glomerulus with afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. The renal tubules, next comes the renal tubules, which consists of proximal convoluted tubule PCT, distal convoluted tubule called DCT, Henle's loop, and peritubular capillaries and the collecting tubule. So proximal convoluted tubule, the Bowman's capsule descend downward as what? Higher into a coiled tube structure called PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, and it is internally lined by a modified cuboidal epithelium which shows microvilli, and hence because it is called, it shows microvilli, it is called brush border cells also. Then distal convoluted tubule, it is almost similar to PCT but less coiled and lined by cuboidal epithelium. At the end it connects with the collecting tubule. PCT to Henle's loop to DCT. Then Henle's loop, here we can see the Henle's loop. So this particular part is called as the, this is called the Henle's loop. So ascending loop of Henle, descending loop of Henle. So here you can see on the other side also ascending limb of Henle. And here you can see the vasa recta. So Henle's loop, it is a narrow U-shaped structure. So here you can see it is a U-shaped structure. It is a U-shaped structure, and it has descending and ascending limbs which are important in concentrating the urine. So here you can see the ascending limb and the descending limb. Next comes the peritubular capillary. So these are the peritubular capillary. So the afferent renal arteriole that leaves glomerulus do not join renal vein. Instead, it forms second set of blood capillaries around PCT and DCT, forming peritubular capillaries. The blood capillaries around the Henle's loop are called vasa recta. Here you can see the vasa recta. So Henle's loop, it is a narrow U-shaped tube connecting PCT and DCT, and it has what? It has ascending limb and descending limb, right? Top is ascending, just the below one is descending, and which are important in concentrating the urine. Then peritubular capillaries, the blood capillaries that are found around the tubular section is called as peritubular capillaries. The afferent renal arteriole that leaves glomerulus do not join renal vein. Instead, it forms second set of blood capillaries around PCT and DCT, forming peritubular capillaries. So the blood capillaries around Henle's loop are called what? This is called vasa recta. Then function of nephrons or formation of urine. Here, I think all of us know when we come across the structure of renal corpuscle. So the renal corpuscle, or it is otherwise called Malpighian corpuscle, which is very much involved in process of formation of primary urine. So here you can see in this, the first urine is formed, which is called primary urine, or it is otherwise called glomerular filtrate. And this whole thing is called ultrafiltration. What do you mean by ultrafiltration? The fine filtration. So the primary urine, the first urine that is formed, what is the main function of nephron? To eliminate the nitrogenous waste in the form of urea, in the form of urine. So here ammonia, as we all know that in human beings, as human beings are ureotelic animals, the nitrogenous base that is eliminated by human beings is is nothing but urea. So ammonia is an important nitrogenous base product of protein metabolism. Ammonia is converted into urea in the liver by a process called ornithine cycle. Ornithine cycle. So ammonia is an important nitrogenous base product of protein metabolism. As we know, we take food in the form of protein. So the protein metabolism will result in the process of formation of ammonia as a nitrogenous base. As you know, ammonia is highly toxic. It is converted into urea in the liver by a process called ornithine cycle. Then the plasma of the blood transports urea from the liver to the kidneys for elimination. So thereon, see, imagine here even liver also plays a very important role in the process of elimination. So liver also acts as an excretory organ along with kidney. So the ammonia which is converted into urea in the liver is passed on to the, is taken by the blood, and it is transported by the blood from the liver to the kidneys for its elimination in the form of urine. Elimination in the form of urine. So urea is eliminated in the form of urine. Then the formation of urine takes place in the nephrons of the kidneys. So it takes place in the nephrons of it. It involves three physiological processes such as ultrafiltration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion. So what are the three very important processes? So one is called ultrafiltration. Second one is called tubular, that is tubular reabsorption. And third one is called tubular secretion. So these are the very important things which is going to happen in the nephrons. So ammonia, so function of nephrons or formation of urine takes place in the following way. Ammonia, as you know, it is an important nitrogenous base product of protein metabolism. As ammonia is highly toxic, in human it is converted into urea in the liver through a cycle called ornithine cycle, and through blood it is transported from the liver to the kidney for its elimination, and it is eliminated as in the form of, as you know, the urea is eliminated in the form of urine in the nephron. The process of formation of urine takes place in the nephrons of the kidneys. So it involves three very important physiological processes. One is called ultrafiltration, second one is called tubular reabsorption, and third one is called tubular secretion. So here you can see how the process of absorption, that is the process of formation of urine, will take place. So ultrafiltration is also called as glomerular filtration. As I said, what do you mean by ultrafiltration? Means the fine filtration of urine is called ultrafiltration, which takes place in the Bowman's capsule. Here it takes place in the Bowman's capsule. It takes place in the renal corpuscle, we can say. Renal corpuscle. So it is also called as what? Primary urine. So here ultrafiltration of glomerular filtration. Here you can see how the reabsorption, nutrients, water, hydrogen, ammonia, then sodium chloride, how it is absorbed and reabsorbed. Finally, the urine is collected here in the collecting tubule. So it involves the filtration of blood plasma under high pressure created in the glomerulus as the blood flows from afferent to efferent renal arteriole. So here the very important concept that is involved is based on the blood pressure here. So it involves the filtration of blood plasma under high pressure created in the glomerulus. As you know, the tuft of blood capillaries, that is what we call it as glomerulus, as the blood flows from afferent to efferent renal arteriole. Thus, pressure exerted in the glomerulus is called glomerular hydrostatic pressure. So the pressure that is exerted in the tuft of blood capillaries due to the high pressure created in the glomerulus is called glomerular hydrostatic pressure, which is short form is GHP, and it is about 70 mmHg. So how much it is? So the GHP is GHP is equal to 70 mmHg. So what is GHP? GHP is called as glomerular hydrostatic pressure. Glomerular hydrostatic pressure. So the osmotic pressure created by the blood to resist GHP is called blood colloid osmotic pressure, or it is otherwise called BCOP. So it is called BCOP, which is around 30 mmHg. That which is around 30 mmHg. So ultrafiltration or glomerular filtration takes place in the following way. It involves the filtration of blood plasma under high pressure created in the glomerulus. Then as the blood flows from afferent to efferent renal arteriole. Thus pressure exerted in the glomerulus is called GHP. What is GHP? Glomerular hydrostatic pressure, which is around 70 mmHg. And the osmotic pressure created by the blood to resist GHP is called what? Blood colloidal osmotic pressure, which is called BCOP in short form, and it is about 30 mmHg. So the pressure created in the capsular space, that is the Bowman's capsular space. So this space is called as capsular space. This is called as capsular space. So the pressure created in capsular space which is opposing GHP is called capsular hydrostatic pressure, CP, and it is about 20 mmHg. It is about 20 mmHg. So the difference of all this pressure is called effective filtration pressure, or EEP. The BCOP, that is blood colloidal osmotic pressure, is 30 mmHg. Then GHP is 70 mmHg. GHP, glomerular hydrostatic pressure, is 70 mmHg. Then BCOP is 30 mmHg. Then CP, that is hydrostatic capsular pressure, is around 20 mmHg. So the difference of all these pressures put together is called effective filtration pressure. That is around 70 minus 30 minus 20 is 20 mmHg. So that is effective filtration pressure. EFP is equal to 20 mmHg. That is GHP minus BCOP minus CP is equal to EFP. That is around 70 minus 30 minus 20 is equal to 20 mmHg. So the pressure created in the capsular space which is opposing GHP is called capsular hydrostatic pressure, and it is about 20 mmHg. The difference of all this pressure is called effective filtration pressure and is about 20 mmHg. So what is effective filtration pressure? GHP minus BCOP minus CP is equal to, that is 70 minus 30 minus 20 is equal to 20 mmHg. Hope you all have understood the concepts what I have explained in this particular session about renal corpuscle and renal tubule. So I'll be back in the coming session with some more interesting concepts of this wonderful chapter called excretory products and their elimination. Till then, goodbye and thank you.